I was fighting this being and it gripped me up. And it was like, I'm about to open you up to like demons and stuff like that. And I just said, Om. And like it literally froze the being. Then I finished the Om, and then I just went somewhere else. Like I was in my own place. I'm like, holy shit, even mantras, even saying a simple mantra, simple Om, helped me get out that situation. So there definitely is a lot of power with words for a fact. I definitely like heavily stamp that.
What's going on, y'all? This is Cultivating Royalhood with my guy Genie. So we just gonna talk about spiritual warfare 101. So I'm gonna give the floor to you, Genie.
Hey, what's going on with y'all? You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Genie Dot at Genie Dot on YouTube. Spiritual warfare, man, is definitely a topic that I'm very into. Some of you guys may be aware of this, some of you guys may not be, of the concept of star seeds and like the fact that our souls, a lot of people's souls have had lifetimes on alien planets, which I mean would kind of really make sense. I mean, bro, you gotta understand our soul is infinite. You think you haven't been on an alien planet before, you know what I'm saying? So with all that being said, as I learned more about my heritage, I saw how like in my past lives I would do a lot of fighting, you know what I'm saying? And even without knowing my past lives, I would always like go outside the astral plane and hunt beings and stuff like that, hunt shadow beings, all this other stuff. And then as I got more into the whole like warriorship stuff, started finding crazy beings like Alpha Draconians, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Fought Alpha Draco with my friends actually. That was actually a pretty dope experience. I talked about it on my YouTube. We got to mention it a little bit here also, but yeah, when it comes to spiritual warfare, I'm definitely experienced. I actually had a battle like a few days ago, and bro, this stuff gets real. Like I woke up and it's like my side. It felt like I got stabbed with a knife. And I could literally like feel it and I could see it. I mean, what I did to the person, it was way worse. But it was like I could see my dragon self with the knife in the side, and like it kept on throbbing. And I asked my man's about it. He was like, "Yeah, do you feel like?" He's like, "You feel like over here?" And it's like this poison on it. I'm like, "Yeah, what is that poison?" I'm like, "What is that?" It's like had some this venom on it. It was really weird, but like, you could really like I was able to really feel that in my physical life. So like this stuff get real, and we gonna talk about it for sure.
Yeah, I would say I can definitely resonate well with what you're talking about. There was one particular experience I had probably a couple months ago. And so a lot of times whenever I leave my body and just kind of roam around in the astral, it's like physically here on Earth. But there was
Mhm,
this one particular time where I ended up on a totally different planet. Like
mhm,
I saw like the different civilizations, different alien beings moving around, how they work, and they were looking at me weird, like, "What are you doing here? Like, you don't belong here. You're a human. What's going on?" But the
mhm,
thing is, I was there to help them because they were alien beings, but they were like little small. They were so small and just kind of like
mhm,
so peace and happy and just kind of defenseless. So what happened is there was actually a big mothership that landed on their planet, and like dragons came, not like dragons, but like draconians. Like they
mhm,
actually came out of the ship and they were coming to attack them. And
mhm,
so like there was some rainbow colored light wings that just came out of my back. And then this sword came, and then it was like a light sword. And I was spinning around like a tornado and just chopping them all up, destroying them like it was a real deal war scene. Then as soon as they got cut up, I woke up. So it was kind of weird because it's like a part of you, it's like, okay, is this really something I should believe? But then I've had certain experiences on Earth where I will have a dream about somebody, and I'm in the middle of a spiritual war, you know, trying to help them. And then I would wake up and I would ask them, like, okay, you know, anything weird happening, what's going on? Then they would actually tell me, like, yeah, like they could feel something shifted or something was different. And that would just be
mhm.
confirmation for me, like, okay, yeah, okay, I ain't crazy.
Nah, definitely, yo. Yeah, the effects are definitely real. When me and my friends fought that Alpha Draco, it was actually terrorizing kids inside one of my friends' towns. My boy King Cash. They were terrorizing the kids there. But after we fought it, the kids were all good. They're like, "Yeah, bro, it feels different inside the town. It feels more clear." You know what I'm saying? There's been times where I fought beings and people say that they feel different. So that's definitely real. How would you quick question? How would you define spiritual warfare for everybody watching right now?
Man, you know what? For me, so it's different levels. And I would say I started like at the bottom to where all I did was just like if something was going wrong in my life, like I would pray about it. But then I
Mhm,
really couldn't see the behind the scenes. I would say where me and you are at now, we kind of have that sneak peek to where we can actually see behind the scenes. We can actually see the angels. We can actually see the shadow beings. Like we can actually see the effects of the prayers. But at that
Mhm.
point, I would just pray and just kind of like kind of hope for the best. But it's like, through prayer and meditation, it got to the point now where it's like you really see the behind the scenes aspect of it. And it's like, it's weird. So that's kind of what I would define it as. It's like, whether you meditate or whether you pray, or even if you just have an optimistic attitude or, you know, just kind of doing things out of love. Like even doing things out of love is an act of spiritual warfare. 'Cause some beings don't like that. I mean, it's
Mhm.
crazy, but some of them can't stand it. So for
Mhm.
me, spiritual warfare is, I mean, it's something that I've been doing ever since I can remember. But you know, for me is real, especially being able to see behind the scenes and understanding what's actually going on when you pray or what's going on when you meditate. And what I find is like prayer and having the proper intention and faith behind it, like you're gonna have some action, like something's gonna happen. But it's like when you throw the meditation on top of it, like it opens you up to where you can actually physically feel or see the
Mhm.
battle going on in real time. So that's how I would define it.
I definitely agree with that, and I like how you said, like, you started off with the fact that when things go wrong inside your life, you're like, "Okay, hold, let me pray real quick," because low key, like, when things go bad inside your life, not to scare nobody, but there are certain forces that do try to cause harm towards you, you know? Now, this isn't for you to be scared, it's for you to be aware. Like
Yep.
I talked about on my Patreon, actually, I gave you like some exclusive sauce I gave on there. I talked about with spiritual warfare have how you have three atmospheres. You have your physical reality, you have your emotional reality, and your mental reality. And the thing is, a lot of times when stuff goes bad inside the physical, it's because your mind already got attacked. And so your emotions. Because when you're thinking off, when your thoughts start fully aligned, your feelings get thrown off. When your feelings get thrown off, your actions get thrown off. When your actions get thrown off, you create certain effects inside your life that cause more harm towards you. So it's really important to be aware of like, damn, like when you tripping inside your head, what is really that thought that's really making you like, what really is that? Because that is an intelligent energy right there, aka what they call a spirit.
Yep.
So it's not always like a big and bad, oh, hey, I'm a spirit. Sometimes it could be like a little simple petty virus, but those viruses or bacteria weakening your mind can make you open up to bigger stuff. So you letting all those doubts come in, you have the spirit of doubt, spirit of fear, spirit of anger, messing up your thoughts, messing up your feelings. You act a certain kind of way, and your life is kind of like, now starts falling apart. Because even let's say your life didn't just fall apart super quick, but it happened over time. That's because you could actually structure your life in a way that was based upon what those lower intelligences were telling you and stuff like that. You could have based your life out of a whole insecure lifestyle. So it's like in the movie The Matrix, right? In the very last Matrix movie, they had handlers pretty much when Neo would be closer to breaking when Neo was closer to breaking free, he would have his friends pull him back. He would have a therapist pull him back. They all pull him back because he already got put inside the matrix mentally and emotionally. So his life was structured with people who would pull him back down. So you could have a life structured right now that was pretty much made based upon certain low vibrational thoughts and emotions and actions. So it's really important to watch what enters your mind and what you feel. Because when you watch those things, your physical environment is more taken care of because it really does start first with your mind and your emotions. So that's really important for a fact.
Yep, ain't no doubt about that. Yeah, man, you hitting some key points, man. You bringing out the juice, you bringing out the sauce. Yeah, man, it's just like you said, man. It's very real. So if you will, just kind of go into detail about just kind of something that stands out to you, like like, and I guess what would be beneficial because there's going to be a lot of people who don't really believe or just kind of feel or vibe the way we vibe. So I feel like what would be good is like if you like talk about an experience that you had and then talk about how it affected like the natural world and like how that played into it.
For sure. So on some simple stuff, I could say this. I'll go from simple stuff to like more big events. So on some simple stuff, it'll be stuff like back to the whole atmosphere stuff. It'll be something like, oh, I have a certain thought come in. I'm like, oh, no, where's this coming from type stuff. And then you could I call it using your mental man when you talk inside your own head and you affirm like, no, this voice right here is me. That other shit, nah, that's not me. And I kind of like banish it away in a certain kind of way. And then I noticed that like pretty much like when I was letting those thoughts come in, it's like, let's say like I was trying to achieve a certain goal, I would always fall short. You know what I'm saying? I could never really hit that goal. I'm always messing up with certain bad habits. I couldn't, you know what I'm saying, stop doing certain stuff until I finally got that thought out my head and that spirit out my head. And then I can actually achieve that goal now. Moving a bit of a step up. It was one time, bro, I was just working out, right? And I decided to meditate real quick. And I do this thing that I call opening up my astral vision or like empathic sight or like etheric vision. Pretty much when I meditate, I just open up like my mind's eye and I could see around me. And I could like feel stuff too. Now I saw a being, right? It was like right next to me on my right side, floating above me, right? His face looked like kind of like scary, but I'm like, you're not really that scary for real. Now, with that being said, there's angels have a flame called heavenly fire. There's actually a whole bunch of cosmic heavenly fires, to be honest. But it's like the one I used looked like a white light. So I just went like, boom. And then like I saw it move, right? But here's the thing: that John moved to my kitchen and fled from there, right? When that John moved, I actually heard a noise in my kitchen. Like I could see where it moved inside my kitchen, and I heard the noise right where it moved. I'm like, oh shit! I'm like, oh, that was a little bit physical right there. And there's been other times where like let's say like my mom, right? I could tell that she's like when my mom is in certain states, I know it's because she's having certain thoughts, and those thoughts are coming from spirits. So I'm like, okay, I can't always tell her straight up, hey, don't think like that. Hey, don't do that. Hey, don't feel like that. Sometimes I can only work from the background. So at nighttime, I'll go inside her astral realm. You know what I'm saying? Inside her own dimensional space, and I'll clear up what's there. Then the very next day, she's like, "Hey, good morning," giving hugs and stuff like that. She's all happy and stuff like that. Oh, today's a good day. I'm like, word. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, what I did worked. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yep.
definitely have, yeah, it's definitely been practical things inside my life that have changed as a result. And I guess one more thing I'll say is the fact that like, there's times with succubi, right? So like, I could have women inside my life really trying to like pull me away from my goals and stuff like that. And then I'll notice that inside the astral, it's like I'm having sex with a succubus. So I'm like, hold the fuck up. It's like when I stopped having sex with the succubus, the girls just fill out my life naturally. And I mean, like, bro, the thing is, you can always block a female, but some girls will like make a whole new number and text you back, and it's like, damn, like, why is you doing all this? You know what I'm saying? But low key, I ain't gonna lie. When you inside that lower state, you kind of be like, well, shit, I could just do
Right.
a little something, bro. Let me text
Yep.
back real quick. And it's like, nah. I had to get that out. I had to get out of here. I had to go in the ass and like, yo, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm done fucking with you. And then it's not the physical as well. So yeah, that's definitely
Yeah,
something too.
man. You hitting on some gold nuggets, man. So one thing I would like to kind of add on and just kind of not really add on, but just like highlight what you're saying is like be cautious of the thoughts that you having. Cause like that's what I realized. Like just because you have a thought, that doesn't mean it is your thought. And that's something that I was blessed to learn at an early age. Like sometimes what I would literally do is just sit down and I'll just bring my mind to stillness. And usually the first thing that's gonna come to mind is like things that happen at work or current situations. But then you just let that float away, just bypass. And then when your mind get to a particular level of stillness, then you will be able to literally see, like you'll have a thought and you'll be like, all right, that's not something I usually think about. So you know it's an entity, but depending on that thought, you know whether it's a good entity or a bad entity. It's like your gut feeling will tell you. Like if you're just sitting there and then like a lot of people they call them intrusive thoughts. Like to where you could just be walking up behind somebody and then you had a thought, be like, man, I'm gonna smack them in the back of the head. It's just like little small stuff like that, and that's how that's how the dark world work. Like they don't have as much power as we think they do. Really, they operate in us and through us, and how they do that, it starts with the mental. It starts with the mental plane, and so there's a story that I'm gonna kind of highlight. This is one particular time me and my cousin was at church, and we was leaving church one night. We was leaving a revival, and there was this young lady, and she had like a little 2 year old. And then
Mhm.
so they were walking home, and it was late, so we were like, we just gonna pick him up and take him home. So as soon as we pick him up, like the little kid just started crying and yelling and screaming, And like
Mhm.
me being who I am, I knew something was wrong with that kid because kids love me. Like I've never had a kid that did not like me. And so the kid was looking at me yelling and screaming. I was like, all right, I'm thinking in my head, I got something for you. And I wasn't talking about the kid. I was talking about the demon that was tormenting the kid. So we ended up dropping them off, and then after we dropped them off, I asked the mom. I was like, "Well, how long has your kid been crying? Like, what's wrong?" And she said that she was actually homeless and she was trying to find a job. So she actually had to let some strangers babysit her child. And ever since she let those strangers babysit her child hasn't been able to sleep, been crying, and been tormented and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, we went and bought her some groceries and then sent her on by her way. And then I get home, and so I pray, and then I pray, and then like I go into this whole little spiritual warfare. Like I speak in tongues too. Like a lot of people don't do that, but it's like I have an angelic tongue to where like when I speak, the angels they start moving. It's like I'm a commander. And it's weird because I didn't think of it like that until I met somebody who can actually see angels. And as I was speaking that tongue, the angels would align and they would move and they would just, I mean, it's weird. It's like, I don't know, it's nothing but respect though. But,
Mhm.
I jumped off topic, but basically, I went into prayer and then I went to sleep. And then when I went to sleep, it's kind of like my natural eyes closed and my spiritual eyes open, and I was on this stage. And then there was the baby there in a car seat. So I pick up the baby, I start rocking the baby, holding the baby. Then I look at the baby, and then I can see the baby's face, and then I can see that demon's face. And then I was like, okay, I see what's going on. So then I start praying with the baby in my hand, and the demon jump out and try to attack me. So then I sit the baby down. Then I start whipping the demon, beating up on it, and then I kick it, and then I kick it, and then like the ground opened up, and then it
Mhm.
fell down into that little ravine, and it was trying to get back up, and there was some attachments that the demon was using to just kind of have access to the child. And so what I did is I took those attachments and I kicked that, down the cliff too. And then so that next morning, I actually reach out to the mom and just ask, like, okay, did anything different happen? How's the kid doing? And she said that the kid was crying up until about, I think it was like midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And then after that, the kid just fell asleep. And
Mhm.
then the very next day, like the kid was acting perfectly normal. Like, absolutely, like nothing happened. And it's moments like that where it's like I get joy, like I get peace because
Mhm.
it's like people want help. Like people desire help, but a lot of people don't know where to go. They don't know who to depend on. They don't know who to count on. It's like, who do you call? And like, it's a very beautiful thing. Spiritual warfare is extremely beautiful. Like we talk about the fighting aspect and the cutting stuff and the whooping stuff, but at the same time, it's like it brings balance and it brings peace.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's it. That's one of my little stories.
That was a great story, bro. You banished that thing to the shadow realm.
For
But
real.
I think that's actually a really great story because, like, it definitely showed the power of prayer too. Because yeah, let's talk about that now because prayer definitely is powerful because something I've realized is that when it comes to like whether it be magic or just bringing spiritual energy down to the physical, you got to like bring it down to different layers. So with that being said, when you use words, right, it's like you're speaking to contact a certain energy. And then when you feel it, you bring it down another level. Like when you speaking is more like you like saying like on like a mental spiritual plane, hey, I want this energy, come down for me and stuff like that. Then as you feel it, you bring it down to through the etheric plane. And when you actually see it, that's the astral. Like being able to see something is all the astral, and then feeling it more is the etheric. And then when you actually like do certain actions, like you actually put your hands in a certain kind of way, or you like to do a certain hand motion, you complete the circuit. You talk to the mental plane, you know what I'm saying? You saw it with the astral stuff, you feel it with the etheric stuff, then you do an actual physical action with the physical stuff, and then the action really does work. So like it's I like how you said like when you say the prayer, you can actually like feel it. You see the angels moving because that's actually like there really is power inside the tongue, you know. And faith is definitely very important with that too, because people will try to like pray, but they have no faith behind it. And it's like, nah, you gotta add that power to your words. That feeling of faith that you feel when you speak is literally charging the words and allowing it to actually bring that energy down and actually banish a certain being. So that's actually really important. There's been times where it was this one time actually I just woke up inside the astral and I thought I was here, but I got like this weird eerie feeling and something was about to walk through my door. And I just started praying like OD crazy. And bro, that joint shut the whole reality down, bro. It shut the whole reality down. And I'm just floating inside infinite blackness. I'm like, what the heck? And I just keep going, like, yeah, I'm powerful. I'm this, I'm that. You know what I'm saying? I banish all negative beings. Da, 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 da. And then, like, bro, I just seen these lights drip down. And I was put in this state of like, bro, it's like I was there, but I wasn't there. Like, I didn't even see black. It's like we go to sleep at night, and like if you sleep, you sleep for 8 hours, right? You don't see black for all 8 hours. You don't
Yep.
see dreams for all 8 hours. At some point, it's absolutely nothing. But it's like you were still there. You just didn't really see what was going on. It was like that for me, but I was conscious of it. I'm just floating
Yep.
inside infinite nothingness. I'm like, damn. It felt like I was dead as connected back with God. You know what I'm saying? What they call source consciousness. It really felt like that. I'm like, holy shit. And I came back. I came back from out of my floor. I came back. I'm like, I'm in my room. I came from out the floor, and like it was all dark outside, but I had like no fear. Like I'm in like a low astral realm at this point, but I just have no fear. I'm just walking around, making sure that stuff is all good. It was a great experience. I just eventually woke back up. But doing that prayer literally just like sent me to that God state, bro, just by praying and saying all that powerful stuff. And there's been other times where like I'm finding a certain being. I actually made a video about this called The Power of Om. But pretty much I was fighting this being and it gripped me up. And it was like, I'm about to open you up to like demons and stuff like that. And I just said Om. And like it literally froze the being. And then I finished the Om. And then I just went somewhere else. Like I was in my own place. I'm like, holy shit, even mantras, even saying a simple mantra, simple Om, help me get out that situation. So there definitely is a lot of power with words for a fact. I definitely like heavily stamp that.
Man, I've been there, man. I've been to that black space, that void, to where it feel like you in connected to oneness with the creator. So I'm gonna tell you about mine. So mine started where, I was in the astral, but I wasn't nowhere in here. Like I was in Asia somewhere. And I was like in like a Asian market, and it was a bunch of people around me, moving, talking, eating like Asian food. It was weird. And so I'm just there looking around, like, okay, where am I? Then I realized, okay, I'm having another out of body experience. So what happened was it got to the point where I could hear and feel everybody's emotions and hear everybody's conversations. And I was registering it and I was feeling it and hearing it all at the same time. And I knew at that point that I was connecting to source because everybody was starting to literally become a part of me. So then
Mhm.
I do this little thing where I jump up and then I start just kind of going above, and the higher I go, it's like my consciousness was like picking up more and more and more to the point where I
Mhm.
was just there looking at like Earth, and I could see like little lights, and I can hear everything. I can hear every animal. I can hear every plant. I can hear every human. And it was like my mind wasn't cluttered like you would think. It
Mhm.
wasn't. It was almost like it was weird. It's like you know everything and all things at one time, but yet you know nothing too. And then from there, I just went past that. And then the earth got smaller and smaller. Then I went to this place where it was just infinite blackness. And then it got to the point where I was just, I was existing, and I couldn't see a body. It was nothing, but it was so peaceful. It felt like it's crazy because I don't know what it feels like to be in my mother's womb, but it was almost like the feeling of being in your mother's womb, where it was just like you just embraced in peace. And then I was just there, just like looking. And then I would see a flash of light. I would see a spark of light here, a spark of light there. Then it turned into a fireworks show. And then next thing you know, the colors they start weaving together. And then it's like I woke up and I was like, man, that was awesome. Like I went through the whole day like in my own little mental zone, like, man, that was awesome. So
Yeah.
that was wild, man. I definitely know what you're talking about. Like, I mean, I would probably call it like the infinite void or something like that.
Mhm.
It's the place where everything is, but nothing is all at the same time. It's
Yeah,
weird.
bro. Yeah, I
So
def my fault, my fault.
oh, you good. I'm gonna backtrack to like prayer because just like how you said, like I'm gonna ask a question and it's like I know me and you already know the answer to it, but it's like the viewers, like to kind of help them give some insight. Basically, you
Mhm.
broke down prayer and said exactly what prayer was. And basically the way he said it, it was making a connection, with source and with the divine and completing that circuit, and then something happens. So do you think it's a possibility that we could be praying unintentionally? And what I mean by that is you go throughout your day and then you're like, man, I hate this place. Or man, I can't stand that B. And then like you creating that emotion, you feeling it or going around saying, man, I'm broke, I'm poor, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like by definition, what you're doing is you're creating that emotion and then you start acting on it, you complete that circle. So do you think it's a possibility that we could be unintentionally praying our own demise and not even know it?
Yes, for sure. Like, yeah, going back to when you say like, oh, I hate this job. Well, dang, now the spirit or contact is the spirit of hate. You know what I'm saying? And then you start feeling the hate, you start acting out the hate, you complete the circuit. Now you have a life that's created by the spirit of hate. And you just go around hating even more stuff. Oh, I hate this job. Oh, I hate my friends. Oh, I hate my family. You know what I'm saying? Like when you start saying these things, you definitely give access to those spirits, to those intelligences to come inside you and make you feel and act certain ways. So people definitely do that. And like even on the flip side, right? People will because there's a known truth, right? Well, it's not known to everybody, but when you hit a certain point, you start knowing this that pretty much with spirit guides, right? A lot of spirit guides can't help you unless you ask for help. Now, people be in their life like, oh, my spirit guides never come to me, but they actually do sometimes because there be times where like when you even if you don't say, "Oh, spirit God, I need you," if you're like, "Oh my God, I need a miracle right now," da, 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 spirit guides could come at that point. Also past versions of yourself could come at that point as well. That may sound crazy, but I've noticed this even in my own life right now. I'll meditate and think back at a time where I was like 12 years old, and 12-year-old me needed some help and stuff like that. And I'm telling 12-year-old me certain stuff that I know right now, and it makes 12-year-old self feel better that I peep hold the freak up. But I was actually in that situation. The stuff I was thinking at that time is what I'm saying right now. And it's like, whoa, it gets real trippy. So you do all kinds of prayers unconsciously that so many beings can answer to, whether it be a positive one, negative one, angel, ancestor, demon, lower virus kind of a spirit. Like it could, yeah, you definitely gotta be careful what you say because whenever you speak these words, you are hooking up with a certain kind of intelligence. So now it's up for you to say, okay, which one do you want? You want the happy spirits, the sad spirits, the angry spirits, the peaceful spirits? You know what I'm saying? With depending on what you want, speak that into your life way more because they say the power's inside the tongue, you know what I'm saying? That's a fact.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I know I changed the subject a little bit, but you were gonna say something
Mhm.
when we talked about the void.
Yeah, I was just saying how I definitely like everything about the void is definitely correct. Like I definitely see it as like it's like the infinite. It's like an infinite ocean of pure awareness. Like you're just there, just purely just existing, like you said. You know what I'm saying? It's infinite, and all things really do come from that. And I definitely agree with that. Something else I was also gonna say is the fact that being when you're inside that state, you really do see how like holy shit, like you really are a source. Like F just saying you're a part of source, but you actually are that because your soul is an individualized focal point of awareness. You are a simply individual observer that's part of a greater observer. Inside that void, it's an infinite void of pure awareness. So with that being said, when you realize, holy crap, I'm actually source, in spiritual warfare, certain beings can't even affect you anymore. Like would it if you're a god, why are you scared of a demon? You know what I'm saying? This ain't me
Exactly.
trying to say go around like, oh yeah, I'm God, I'm so powerful. Because at that point, that's your ego. That's like me, Genie, right? Me as Genie is not God, but the energy that sustains Genie is God. So I can't even be in my Genie state saying that I'm God. I have to go to the higher aspect of myself. And when you realize that, it's like, damn, when you get in tune with that energy, that God energy, it's like holy shit, like you become so powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, you could just simply just a big come around you. You just think like I'm God. A whole bunch of lights just come out. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that really does happen. And even if you haven't got to that state yet, you could always call upon certain spirit guides. Like people will like be scared sometimes, like, oh my God, spiritual warfare, what should I do? When you're just starting off, prayer could be your best weapon. Pray to your
Yep.
spirit guides because everybody has helpful beings that want to, protect them and stuff like that. And oftentimes, if you are actually experiencing spiritual warfare, that could mean that most times it means that you're a powerful soul in general. You know what I'm saying? You already have some type of power that they want to block off. So
Yep.
when you connect with a spirit guide, right? The spirit guide can protect you, but it could also start showing you more of your power. Like people don't even realize this, but like you can have a dream sometimes, right? About like you get into an argument with a coworker, but this argument is like you took your power back and then things went well after you argued with them. It's like you didn't have a bad argument. It's like you got to a disagreement, but it benefited you type stuff. Stuff like that is you getting taught how to express your power. You know what I'm saying? Like I know several people who may think like, oh, my spirit guys don't talk to me, but they having these crazy behind dreams that deal with them taking their power back and showing them like you are a powerful being. People cannot talk to you a certain kind of way because all a spirit is a person without a body. So it's like you shouldn't even see it as like, oh my God, they're so scary. Because like if you could handle people inside your everyday life, you can handle a spirit inside your everyday life. Yeah, they may not have a body, so they could probably like you can say they could like manipulate certain spiritual dimensions. But if you really think about that, bro, if anything, a human's more dangerous. A human can actually kill you. Like,
Yeah.
you know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? The spirit not gonna kill you now, bro. All they gonna do is just torment you and make you give your own power away. Like a possession, what a possession truly is a spirit whispering inside of your ear, and you say, "Oh yeah, I am that spirit." So when you say, I am depressed," right? The depressed spirit is talking to you. And you're saying, "I am depressed," and you identify with that spirit, and that's what a possession actually is. But once you stop identifying with that, you get rid of that attachment to that intelligence, aka to that spirit. So that's actually very important as well. Yeah, definitely want to tap on that for sure.
Yeah, man, that's on point. Because I'm gonna be honest, so I have a very, biblical background. I grew up in the church. So, a lot of the things I'll relate that to is gonna be the Bible. Like Jesus was the prime example. Like if you read the Bible, like the devil never really messed with God at all whatsoever. He just kind of went to God, had to ask permission. And then it was the same with Jesus, because what Jesus did is he ascended to the point where he was God. So if you notice, the devil would come and talk to Jesus, but Jesus would be like, get on, go on about your business. And they'll
Hmm.
leave. And then, like, I read the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch is not necessarily like in the King James Bible, but Enoch was literally one of those people where he was able to take that same ascension path. And they got to the point where literally, like, the baddest of the bad demons were trying to get to Enoch to get information on source and learn about the creator and what they can do to just kind of thrive in their own power, because he had just he had that type of connection. It was crazy. So,
Hmm.
literally what you saying, it has happened in my life, to where I was fighting demons all the time. I was fighting spirits all the time. And I still have my battles, but they're more so mental. But it was more so to the point where I would wake up, things suffocating me, choking me, squeezing my
Hmm.
heart, just trying to take me out. But then when I finally realized who I was and who I am, I was like, man, you know what? I ain't got nothing to worry about. Now I have no worries. I have no fear. Like I meditate, and then as I close my eyes, I can see certain spirits that's around me. And I could tell you where they came from, because throughout the day, you go different places, you're around certain
Hmm.
people, and sometimes they're trying to attach themselves. So before I go to sleep at night, I just meditate, and I be like, all right, I see you here, gone, see you here, gone, see you here, gone, and then boom, peace, peace at night. It's amazing. But the biggest thing is we have to realize who we are. Like that is the thing,
Hmm.
because the greatest illusion is separation from source. Like what I tell anybody is imagine your body. And if we look at source, like it's just an infinite body, like you have you, and then you have your cells, you have the white blood cells, the red blood cells, you have all these things working together for oneness. And it would be crazy of me to be like, okay, well, this J dot, but that cell is not J dot. This just a cell. That's something that ain't J dot. It would be crazy to think that. So if we were
Hmm.
made up of the infinite source, it would be crazy of us to think that we are not that. Like it's
No,
amazing.
definitely.
It's amazing. It's very trippy, but once you wrap your mind around it, it all really starts to make sense.
Yes, bro. Like for an example, like with an ocean, bro, if you see a wave inside the ocean, you're not gonna say, "Oh, the wave's not part of the ocean." Like the wave is still part of the ocean. Yeah, maybe it could be a certain size, a certain shape. You could be a certain size, a certain shape, but that wave is still a part of the ocean. Like you are a drop of water inside of an infinite ocean. So it's really important to see that because, like in my own life, bro, there's literally times where there's one time I had a witch scare me, right? Bro, and at that period of time, I was leaving my body like every single night at the same time every night for the most part. Like I was getting deep with it, right? Bro,
Yeah.
I put myself into retirement after that. I'm like, oh, that witch. I'm like, oh, hold up. I'm like, oh, because even at that time, I intellectually understood like, oh, like yeah, I'm source, but I didn't fully embody that understanding. Because like you could get told, oh yeah, you're source, oh yeah, you're God, but when that actually clicks inside you, that's when the game changes. Because low key, bro, like yo, after that witch stuff, bro, like the past nights after that, my body was still trained to like astral project. So I'll get sleep process. I'm like, oh no, I'm let me let me not get paralyzed. So I can stay. I'm just stay awake real quick and let this
Yep.
dawn pass and just not go out my body no more. Like I was shook for real. Then I start peeping like, dang, why did I give my power away so much? Especially to a witch. Like that witch wasn't even that scary for like the stuff I fight nowadays. It's like, bro, are you serious?
Yeah,
But like,
exactly.
yeah, getting that having that God perspective is so important. There's actually one time my spirit guides let me kind of get attacked to show me something. Pretty much normally when I'll be inside the astral, my door is locked. So the most that ever happened is that like a being will knock on it, but they can't get inside type stuff because my spirit guys are
Yep.
protecting that. You know what I'm saying? Now when I was at a period of time where I'm like, you know what, bro, I'm trying to get stronger. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of being scared, right? I was in my room again, but they actually opened the door. And it was at first it appears my mom. Then it shifted into a big behind shadow being. It just came over like It started trying to punch me, right? Even then though I had a force field around me. I'm like, I'm really
Yeah, like
protected
what you
for
doing?
real.
For
Yeah,
real.
like I start looking at it, I'm like, hold up. This being is so weak that in order to stay alive, it needs to feed off of my fear.
Right. Exactly.
Like what? After that, I'm like, yeah. I was gonna punch it down. Like, you know what, bro? You're not even worth my time. I'm just gonna disappear out of here. I just meditated. I just went back to my body. They're so weak that they need your own energy to like survive and stuff like that, bro. So like, long story short, don't ever give your power away and think that these beings are stronger than you because they really aren't. They need you to survive, if anything. So it's like if you're their food source, just cut off the food source. No more fear. No more that low vibrational emotion and thought patterns. Once you do all that stuff, bro, you're good, bro. You're gonna really see at some point, like, yo, everything I was scared of, there was no point to be scared of it. And I think it just taught you something about yourself. It taught you your own power. It showed you more about who you are and stuff like that. It showed you like that I can handle anything because you really can. You really can. So I'm gonna end it with that.
Yep. Cool. Cool. So yeah, we reached our time. Zoom kicked us off. So we had to hop
Mhm.
back on and do a closing. But if you will, visit my website at www.cultivatingroyalhood.com. And as for J Dot,
Yes, sir. So look, I'm Genie Dot on YouTube. If you go on my YouTube, you'll see all my links and stuff like that. Social media, Patreon. There's a Discord that we're all inside of. It's pretty dope inside there. You know what I'm saying? Definitely check me out. Yeah, I'm gonna end it right there. And it's 552 as we talking and stuff like that. So I think it's good to end on that 555 right there.
all right. Peace.
Peace.